All right, fast forward a few days. Have the axle pretty much in. I got the new carrier bearing mount made and waiting on the driveline to get shortened. So I am moving on to getting the old toolbox out. So you can see it's had a little bit of a rough life. I don't know if you guys saw the Florence Dunes trip where this tried to collapse and the wood blocks was a band-aid to keep it up.
Yeah, I don't think it
So I got a new toolbox, just a chest type, that's going to sit back by the tailgate. And then the new gas tank is going to sit up in the front of the bed. So I'm going to work on getting the old one out, and then I can start test fitting the gas tank. Let's get to it. So I've still got my onboard air in here hooked up, and the relays and solenoids, and I don't really want to cut all the wires and unhook those at the moment. I'm gonna put that off till later, so I might just cut a big hole to get these out so I can get the toolbox out of the way. Lost you for a second. I'll just take you guys for a ride. Oh boy, this is getting ugly. We've almost got her though. Just got a little bit left there. Oh yeah. Just put that down through there. Let go. We got her. It just needed 2 hands. Okay. I think toolbox is free.
Why are you recording? You should get to work. You have stuff to do.
Like this gas tank.
Yes, that gas tank. What are you gonna do?
You need to cut a hole in the bed, like right there, so that sump can drop through it. And then I need to make some straps for it, mount it. And then I need to make a filler neck and tie in over here to the fuel door.
Where'd you find that fuel tank?
eBay's.
Evil Bay.
Rhodes race cars. Yep.
They have nice welds.
And then I need to make this just a ring, cut it down, cut this portion down, and then so that can bolt onto the GM fuel pump hat thing.
Get to work.
Yes.
You ready?
Hmm?
He's weak to you.
All right, middle's cut out, so it should just fit on like that. Well, this is how it's gonna sit in here, pretty much. Probably gonna take that stud out and then change it, that one and that one, both the bolts going down, so they don't interfere with the fuel lines, but I hope it works. What you doing over here?
I'm gonna cut your bed apart.
Just gonna cut a hole?
Big hole. Shut one eye straight.
Which line?
The one that's not scribbled.
There's like 3 lines
No,
here.
no, I scribbled one of them out.
Okay.
Hey, is there anything under that? Like wires? Are you sure?
I don't know, we'll find out after I cut it, and then I'll look. I'll be able to see it when there's a hole here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a solid plan. Okay.
Like an eighth of an inch.
Well, let's have extra clearance.
Yeah.
You know, you could put like a fancy rubber seal around it, so it's like you cut for it.
Oh yeah, like some
So you don't scratch your tank up.
edge
Yes.
protect stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Mm. Hey.
Huh. I don't think the back's hitting right now. I think these are hitting on the bottom of the floor.
Hey, look at me. Oh gosh. Oh god.
What? We got like right along the edge of this thingy here.
Thingy. That sounds technical.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're right on that edge.
Yeah.
Well done. You planned that, didn't you?
That, yeah. I meant to do that.
Take two.
Still not gonna fit, I don't think.
Well, that's a negative attitude.
No.
Negative Nancy. And look at that. Gorgeous.
Hi, Lena. Hi, puppy. So right now I'm working on the fuel lines. I'll probably end up just mounting the fuel filter right in here, about where the old one was with the old tank, and then I'll keep going up through the bed of the floor to where the fuel tank is now. I'm actually going to reuse this fuel filter bracket that was on the original fuel tank, but I need to pop a little hole in there for a mounting screw. That just clips in there, so it should be pretty easy to change out if I ever need to. Just undo the fittings. And then it's got this neat little clip up top for my return line to snap into. There we go. All right, I'm going to work on extending my fuel lines, going from my existing lines back up through the bed and to the tank. What I like to use is PTFE fuel line because it doesn't break down with any sort of fuel. So there's a -6 fitting here with a little ferrule on the inside that crimps down on the PTFE liner. All right, well, with the help of my good friend Christian, just cut out 2 gaskets. This one will be for the fuel tank to replace the one that's on there right now. This one will come a little further in on the ID to help seal up on the Colorado fuel bucket. And then this one will be for the diff cover, hopefully. Still need to finish trimming the bottom for the shaved portion, but the rest of it turned out really nice. So thanks, Christian. Well, that one looks like a perfect fit. So that should work. And we'll seal up better. Yeah. Okay, so I had to make some fuel tank mounting straps. Designed these out of 1/8" aluminum. This one on the end is bent 90 degrees to hold the tank up against the front of the bed wall, and then this one is just flat and then wraps around the top. And I added some dimples to all of them. Here's a couple little mounts I designed
for the fuel lines to run through. And then over here is the new fuel tank pocket. It'll be 3D printed out of some nylon material, so it should be fuel safe. And these seams here will be welded, so hopefully I can talk Autumn into doing that for me. Just decided to weld these instead of having everything bent, so it's a little easier to hit the dimensions that I want. I can cut the sides to length and then weld them to the top cross pieces. And this little cutout here is right around where the fuel pump hat will sit. Hopefully it all works.
So this is what I'm trying to make work for the gas tank filler pocket. I drew this up and my brother actually 3D printed this out of some nylon material, which is pretty awesome. So it points it a little more towards the fuel tank in the bed. This is the old one, which it pointed more straight down. So this will sit in here, and I already started cutting a hole for it to pass through. But this will sit somewhere about like that. Yeah. So I'll keep trying to get things to fit. I think that hole needs to get a little bigger, and then I can get this cut down. That'll shoot straight through there. And then I'll probably weld on one of these guys or something like it over here. Maybe like that. I don't know. We'll see. Well, the PEMs are pressed in for the fuel line clamps, so I can drop those on. Look at those nice welds from Autumn. It was so nice of her to weld this up for me. Now the top clamp will sit on there. Can bolt it down, hold the fuel lines in place so they don't flop all around. And then the other one will go right here. And then they'll drop down through the bed. Well, here was a neat little project. My brother just gave me this today after I sent him a drawing for this little grommet that he 3D printed. It's using Ninja Flex material, so it's like rubbery. Just a two-piece that bolts together, so I can use this as a pass-through grommet for my fuel lines in the bed. So I'll test fit this, see how it works. Are you gonna weld that for me?
I sure am. Try not to mess it up for you. We'll see. Fingers crossed.
I got the inlet port figured out where we were gonna put it, and the professional's gonna weld it on now.
We'll see about that. No pressure. Houston, we have a tack.
Perfect. Look good.
No, I don't.
You're pretty.
They're all sooty.
Not as pretty as you.
I'll make you prettier ones.
Yes, you can get into all the positions. Now I did a really quick representative model of the heat exchanger so I could get an idea of how I wanted to mount it. Then I drew up these little triangular brackets that'll bolt to the front of the bed with a couple little dimples in them. Those will be 1/8 inch
aluminum. And I'll just probably put some threaded inserts or rivet nuts into the front of the bed to bolt these brackets to. And then I can weld on some little tabs to the heat exchanger to bolt in through the side.
Alright, I got one bracket bent and cleaned back up. Got rid of the marks a little bit from the press brake. And so let's try putting a couple dimples in it and then see how that works before I do the other one. So when you're doing these, you got to make sure that you don't put them too close together that they run into each other. The holes may look fine, but when I was drawing this up in SolidWorks, I made sure to actually draw the dimple die circles as a reference so that I wouldn't crash into the next hole. So just something to keep in mind. A little bit of a bow to it, but I can straighten that out by hand. And then I'll go hopefully be able to touch this up and clean it up a little bit with the sander again. It was a lot better. It's not perfect, but it'll do. Well, the heat exchanger brackets are mostly done, and on to the next thing. Well, I got the heat exchanger over here on the welding bench ready to be modified with some little mounting tabs welded on. So I got these little aluminum tabs I just cut out, and I'll just weld one on each corner, and those will get bolted to these guys after I drill a couple holes in them. So those will sit sort of like that, and then this flange will bolt to the front of the bed. So that's not working. Well, I got two tabs welded on. It's really not going very well though, so I might see if I can sweet talk Autumn into doing the other two, but in the meantime maybe I'll install a couple of these riv nuts in here. Hopefully that works at least. That's pretty much how it'll sit. I'll tuck it up against the top ridge of the bed as high as I can, and hopefully it won't go anywhere. You can see on this side where I had to add the notch for the fuel lines. When it sits up where it's supposed to, it'll go right around those. Okay, nutserts are in the bed. Probably need to put a couple little spacers here, but I can do a test fit on the bolt up. Well guys,
I think I'm done with the fuel tank install. Got it all bolted down. Heat exchanger is all mounted. Got the filler neck hooked up. And the 3D printed filler pocket all installed. Got the pump wired up. That's going through the floor. I've got a vent for the fill that is probably a little bit redundant because I also have this other vent that's going to the rollover valve on the fuel cell. And the reason that's routed clear up and over, FATS method, the fuel air trap system. So it's coming out of the tank, past this wall, looping up, going back across, past the other wall, and then down past the bottom, so that any way this tank is flipped, it can't spill fuel out. So next on the list is just wiring up the fans for the heat exchanger, getting my compressors mounted, and getting my toolbox mounted in the bed, and then eventually a spare tire mount that will angle the tire over the fuel cell. I think that's it for this video though. Thanks for watching.